Tigers, go 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 Tigers.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, George. How's it going?
It's going all right.
Mother, there is no other like mother, so treat her right. Mother, I always love her, my mother, so treat her right, treat her right.
Oh.
Welcome to the Bombadcast.
What is up, Bombad fam? This is ya boy, the Cannon Junkie, and welcome to yet another Bombad Thursday. Here we are together again. It's so good to see you guys. Well, to see your comments trickle in. Maybe trickle's not the best word, but you know what? I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with trickle. We're trickling in. It's Bombad time. What's up, Gallinorian Saber? Oh, hello. Look, we've got Will. We've got pull the trigger, piggy. Yes, and you know what? I will now indeed pull that trigger, piggy. Guys, you're here on another Bombad Thursday. We've made it. It's okay, baby birds. But this is not the only show that is on the Bombadcast YouTube channel. We have a couple other shows, you know. One is the Bombadcast, as you're watching right now. One's on hiatus, but you know, it's probably going to come back pretty soon. You never know. You never know when Hyperfocus is going to come back. It'll come back with a vengeance. But Bombad Gaming with my boy Scotty Jero every Wednesday. Scotty sits down. He plays some fantastic video game fare. I'm a total gamer. You can tell just by the words I am using right now. But you know, if you like watching someone play video games and buying people food, Bombad Gaming is the show for you. So every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Guys, welcome. You're here. You're here at Thursday. You're here at the Bombadcast. This is, again, every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're here for you. And you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and bring in the viral sensation, some have called this person the local menace as well. The man of many titles, Scotty Jero. Scotty, how you doing, bud?
Tila. I'm good. I'm fine, actually. I'm doing very well. I'm glad to be here. It's gonna be a fun episode. I'm excited to talk about this character in particular, Kallus.
Yes.
Which we've never covered before.
Kallus.
We've never actually done a full Rebels or Clone Wars coverage like we really should. Which maybe isn't.
We really haven't
figure that out.
Maybe
we haven't done
maybe
that
we'll
yet.
have to do like a Bombad build-up kind of thing, like we did early on in the early days. Like go through every episode.
Yes,
we might have to do something like
great.
that. But that is actually the premise of our friend we're about to bring on this podcast. If I'm remembering correctly, we got a wonderful person joining us tonight to talk about Kallus. And actually, this is their Bombad moment that we're talking about.
Yes.
Making their Bombadcast debut. Guys.
Long overdue.
Gals. Non-binary pals. Please welcome from Force Friends Rewatch, Andy.
What's going on, Andy?
Welcome,
Cheers. Andy. What's going on?
Cheers. Look,
Cheers,
I've got
my
cheers right there.
Right there. All right.
So glad you're with us,
Listen,
Andy. This is going
I'm pumped to be here.
Last. Oh, well, look, it's long overdue. I'll admit that. It's long overdue.
Oh, absolutely.
You've been on Hyperfocus before. You need to come on the main show. But for this in particular, I did not realize you were such a Kallus stan. Look at this jacket. Take a second. Look at this
Look
jacket.
at that. Oh, sorry. Let me put it on the comment there.
Fiance made it
that.
for me.
Yeah.
Yep. He's pretty great. I'm a big Kallus stan.
Yeah.
I cosplayed
That's
him maybe 4 years ago.
Wow.
It's tough to know with COVID.
Right.
Time
Is there
It all
any way,
blends
Andy?
together. Sometimes I
say,
think it's
can you-
2019 still. You know, it's just like it's weird.
I was going
It's
to
a
say
weird
that.
time.
Can you actually send us a picture of that if you have 1 second? Because I would love to display that. That'd be
Sure,
awesome.
yeah.
Should have prepared that ahead of time. But Kallus is one of these characters that I had
We
to
do our show.
learn to love. And I mean that. Like at first, I'm like, this guy's a prick. But then when you see that transformation over these 3 seasons, or I guess 4 seasons, really.
He's
the
a
third
real
season when he makes
bastard
his-
to start.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. He's terrible. He's
Well, and, like,
terrible.
Not to dive too much into it, but he even admits to being a bastard in one of the
Yeah.
episodes that you mentioned that you like really wanted to kind of dive into tonight. And yeah, like he's full on. He's like, yeah, I know, he's that friend. He's like I know, I'm an asshole. It's fine,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
He's the Prince Zuko of Star Wars Rebels.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
that's a good point.
He starts out chasing the Ghost Crew like Zuko is chasing Team Avatar, and then he has a couple solo adventures, and then he joins the squad. By season 4, he's a goodie.
Look, Andy, I'm going to pull up your picture right now, the one you just forwarded to me, because this is
Oh
a
heck yeah!
fantastic cosplay. Holy cow. So I'm going to get this pulled up real quick. I had no idea you were such a big
What's up, Lo?
stan. This is awesome. Look at this.
Oh,
Gotta
that's
get
so
Andy in the
cool.
shot.
Yeah, we're gonna
Hold
cover
on.
up Andy for right now. That's right. There we go.
Wow. Tell us
Yeah,
how
yeah,
you would
The
yeah.
do this.
hair too. The hair.
I know. The
like,
hair
that's-
is
oh, man.
incredible.
You get the hot Kallus hair, man. Like,
Absolutely.
look at that.
Do you do
Uh,
cosplays
incredible.
often, Andy? Or no? Is this
Yeah,
one of the
my
few?
cosplay Instagram is a one hat cosplay.
Well,
So
let's
if you
look
want
at
to see all
this.
of my
Hold on.
costuming there, yeah.
Scotty's falling in love with I think your cosplay. Maybe
Well,
I'm not
Oh,
sure.
I love it. Thank you.
This
Every
is a
bit of
great.
Andy.
Well,
Hold on.
I'm just we're both just like super psyched to have you on Bombadcast finally.
shucks.
Honestly, like it's seriously
Yeah.
has been a long time
It's
coming.
good to be here.
Look at this. Wait, Lauren, you are correct. Fantastic cosplay.
Thank you, Lauren.
Got there.
Oh, Andy,
Scotty,
I'm
what
getting
did you
this pulled up
find?
right now? So wait, hold
Are you
on.
trying-
I had no idea.
Okay.
No, yeah, I always wanted to pull up the. Let me get this off the screen. But Andy, I was pulling up your Instagram so some people could follow it because cosplay Instagrams are usually some of the most committed Instagrams, and I mean that. Like there's a lot of work that gets done with this. Hold on.
I'm a nobody. I have some.
Oh,
yeah.
whatever.
Wow.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Look at that. I
That's-
love, man. Look at that.
The hair's great. Oh, this is sick. Is this
Thank
your
you,
crew
thank
or
you.
just happen to be a photo?
Look at this.
Oh.
William, one of Scotty's students. This is too realistic. Disney may take this off the air. Well, we are the bad boys of YouTube, as we like to say. So
I
you know.
cosplay too many people with dumb facial hair, so then
Yeah.
I'm just looking like some sort of like, I don't know, redneck weirdo with the Kallus mutton chops as soon as I get out of
Right.
costume.
That's
It's-
amazing.
right. Yeah, you got to be careful not to wear like a camo anything, like anywhere with those. I mean, you can if you want to, I suppose. But
Andy, how much does something like this cost? Let me go back. I want to go back to that Kallus one.
sure.
How much
The-
is something
the
like this?
Black Sails
this
right
cost?
there.
So my fiance is remarkably talented.
Yeah.
He's incredible. So he made the jacket for me.
Okay.
And then the wig is something I got, and then we styled it together.
go.
That's so awesome.
The blaster came with
Wow.
my kit from when I was in the 501st. I used to be a stormtrooper.
Oh,
So I just
really?
kind of had that on hand already.
That's cool.
That's one of my cats being a weirdo in the background. Sorry about that.
No, it's
Cats
okay.
are all they always are weirdos. It's fine. That's why we love
Oh,
cats.
Anakin glove is
Oh,
incredible.
that thing's so sick.
That was very expensive.
Yeah, looks like it.
That looks expensive.
I commissioned someone in Italy to make it for me.
Wow.
Yeah, the Anakin glove was the most expensive part of that costume, probably.
This is incredible.
Goodness.
I had no
Thank
idea.
you.
Look at this playing squadrons with the helmet on.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It
I
makes
think
it way more
Battlefront's
realistic.
okay.
I highly recommend playing Battlefront if you have like a helmet or
That's so
something.
sick.
It's a blast.
Oh, this is fantastic. I had no idea. And also, will we be seeing you at Celebration, by the way, Andy? I never asked you this yet.
That is the day I'm getting married.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I did not know
Celebration
that.
was originally a different date, and we were
August.
planning on
Right.
attending. And then they moved it to the day of our wedding. And it was like, yeah, I guess that ain't happening, huh?
Yeah.
I remember us being like shaking our fists at the universe that we wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
hang out at Celebration this year. Like, why? Like, man. Yeah.
But,
but for that's a good reason though, you know, and like, I would
that's a
say like,
great
hey,
reason.
honeymoon at Celebration, but you know, it's you do what
I'm
you
the blue
guys
stormtrooper.
you've got
Oh, okay.
look at that.
Nice.
Look at
the
that.
stormtrooper commander from Force Unleashed.
Oh, sick.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
Oh, wow.
yeah.
That's great.
Thank you. That was took me 3 years to make.
It's fantastic.
Oh, wow.
So
Andy, I'm gonna have
you
to
made
call
the
you.
armor and everything, right? So that's wow.
Yeah. So
Like the
I got
legit way.
pieces of it from an armor smith who like has a press and
right.
does certain pieces, and then from there they're really rough, and you work them into shape and size it to your body and stuff.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Nathan
all this.
Drake.
This is now
That's sick.
this entire show is now us just going through
Just watching
Andy's
my
Instagram.
going through my Insta. I've
That's
done
right.
every Uncharted game. I've cosplayed every Uncharted game. I really
Wow.
love Nathan Drake.
Does have a Poe Dameron vibe right there. That is true.
Go follow Andy's
Dude.
Instagram right now.
So that convention, I was going down an escalator and I saw a Rose, and I just love Rose. Like, she's one of my favorite characters. So
Yeah.
I geeked out from the escalator because we made eye contact, and I was like, Rose, I love your Rose. And so she was like, you look great. So I went over and we started talking, and we talked for a good 5 minutes. And I was like, hey, can I just like get a picture? Because I love your costume and I love Rose. And she was like, well, can I get one with you? And I was like, thinking like, oh, I guess she's like a huge Uncharted fan. So like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And as we were like walking away, she's like, see you later, Poe. And I was like, no.
That's sick, though, dude.
I felt so
That's
bad.
sick. Oh, I love that. That's a
Every time
special
I wear
moment.
Nathan Drake, someone comes up to me and is like, I love the mummy. You look just like Brendan Fraser or something. And like every single time I'm just like, yeah, I love
You're like
Brendan
that.
Fraser's the mummy.
I just
like,
smile. Just smile and nod.
Just
Thank
do
you.
that with your
Thank
arms.
you.
Just okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, just
Oh, I
you
like
become the
William's idea
shrugging
of just get
emoji.
married at
Like-
Celebration.
Right.
Yeah.
William's got I'm telling you, William is he's also trying to get me into cosplay, but I don't know if that'll happen. But yeah.
Call.
Hey. They do tattoos at Celebration. Why not get
They
married
do.
at Celebration?
It's a
That's
good
all I'm
Look at
solution
you.
right there.
Temple Guard. Whoa.
That's so
Thank you.
I love that.
So that was for a Star Wars LARP that I did, which
Oh,
was a lot of
nice.
fun.
Go on.
Love LARP. It's a great hobby. There's some very cool Star Wars ones out there. They were all pre-COVID. I don't know if they're still around, but they were really fun.
Oh man. Hopefully it will come back eventually. Hopefully.
Yep.
You know.
Oh,
Eventually,
definitely.
hopefully. That's the
Star
that is
Lord.
the tagline of the last 3 years is hopefully maybe. So
Yep.
you know,
Hopefully, maybe.
hopefully
This
eventually.
is
I don't know
really,
what did I say?
really
That's
impressive.
so cool.
Well,
Thank you.
part of it is embodying the look too, not just the outfit, but like the face, the character. Like, where's that? one shot
getting
of
the
you as Anakin?
personality through
Yeah.
poses and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So,
Like, it's there, you know.
Thank you,
It's
thank
Oh,
you.
showing
dude, that
your face.
totally, that pose totally, even like just the standing there with the saber was just very like.
You got to
very
practice in a
animated.
mirror. Yep.
Yes,
Yeah, there you go, right there.
love it.
Yeah, this is great.
The
Andy
wind
had no
was
idea.
terrible.
It's just effect.
But it
It's
looks
just all.
good.
It's all effect, right?
Oh, so you have stories too. I didn't know you could look at
Yeah.
stories on here now. What is happening? Oh, whoa. Oh, are you Beckett?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that's sick.
oh, and comic book resources posted CBR. Wow. Oh, I love this. That's awesome.
Andy, these are fantastic.
Thank you so much.
I've seen this. I've
Yeah.
seen this one before. I've seen this cosplay. Wow. Well, that's a great way to start this off. Adventures in Babysitting. So, all that being said, obviously a big fan of Kallus, which is one of the better characters in the show that I did not expect to fall in love with. But why this moment? Because actually, before I get into the moments, sorry.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We
if
got to do
Gerry
the big
best
thing.
favorite, most fun. The best favorite, most fun.
Our
This is about. It is about our
trademark.
Yeah, this is what we've been doing this since the first episode. We talk about what at this point in your life, what would you consider the best Star Wars? It could be TV show, book,
Right.
story, video game. What's your favorite Star Wars? Because that's not all the same, right? They can be different. And of course, most fun, which is the one I think that excites me the most, is to see what people have to say. So, kind of off the top of your head, when I say best or when Gerry says best, what comes to mind?
Ooh, this is tough. I genuinely think Star Wars Rebels is the best Star Wars, like
I agree with that.
overall. And I
I'm with it.
might feel that way just because I feel like it's also the most underrated. So I feel kind of like a hipster
Yeah.
being like,
Yeah.
oh, Rebels is the best. Like, but Rebels is really freaking good. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Rebels.
Rebels.
It's a good choice. I like that.
The best. You know what's funny? It's like one of those shows that, at least to me, I remember watching it once. Obviously, rewatching an episode the second time once they aired, when they were airing,
Mhm.
and it was one of those shows that, like, I do need to take some time and rewatch, like, in the near future. Like, I really do,
Mhm.
because so much of what Star Wars is now was established in Rebels. Like, the feelings we get in Mando, Book of Boba Fett, those emotions, I feel like were totally used in Rebels because Dave writes it. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, this is all Dave's baby, and everything we've been watching now has been huge hand of Dave Filoni. So you see this manifest in live action now, but it really started with Rebels. It was the first one to kind of come out, you know, of the Disney purchase, and it
was the first Disney like official like here's the first product produced under the Disney flag. So
I
crazy.
didn't love the Kenner style models that they were using at first. Like that had to
Yes.
grow on me a little bit. And
Of
like,
course.
right.
I'm too young. I didn't grow up with the Kenner toys, so I'm sure if I had, it maybe would have been a little more nostalgic for me.
Sure.
But once I
Right.
got past the animation, it really, really hooked me. And I completely agree with you that like that's the premise of Force Turns Rewatch is we trace stories through chronological order. So we frequently start with Clone Wars. Then, now there's Bad Batch. If the theme we're tracing, we go through each show. So
Yeah.
we did Mandalorian themed episodes. So we watched every Mando themed episode of Clone Wars, Rebels, then the Mandalorian. And it's really cool to see the story through each of those shows play out.
Of course. And it's weird
That's
because Rebels, I think, brought the most to the table in terms of what we see, you know, with Sabine getting Mandalore back and then trading the Darksaber. Like that's some heavy stuff that,
That's where the Mandalorian basically got set up, you know, was in Rebels.
Literally.
There's some amazing lore drops in Rebels that like you forget about. And if you don't go back and rewatch, if you do it now, you're going to be like, oh, snap, that was in Rebels? What?
It is one of those two, Lauren. I will agree to that. It's a comfort Star Wars. You can put it on. It's not very jarring. It's not as it can be dramatic, but it's not as dramatic as Clone Wars is. Clone Wars,
but
is
at the
very
same time,
dramatic.
I was watching the episodes tonight with my mom and dad again, and like, you know, they talk about like the first one, they're going to inspect Geonosis, and they're like, you know, hey, the Geonosians are gone. It's just like casually talking about genocide.
Yes.
So whatever.
Yes.
There's that moment in season 2 when the Inquisitor chucks her lightsaber down that hallway and just like murders families,
mows
and
down people.
It's just
Yep.
like,
Yep.
what is happening?
It's weird. And like,
but it has that warm, fuzzy, I guess, A New Hope feeling, because that's what they were kind of going for. But it definitely, I think, dives into like so many deeper themes and stuff, and if you again, like, we'll have Andy plug their show at the end of our show, but go right now and follow Force Friends Rewatch, please, and everything. A fantastic show.
So that being your best, what do you think the best is? What's your favorite then? Well, is it Rebels? Because it's okay if it's twice. Don't get me wrong.
It's probably A New Hope, which is like a really good, safe answer. But I really, really, really love A New Hope. I probably rewatch Phantom Menace the most, so maybe that's secretly my favorite, but I think A New Hope is my favorite.
Okay.
I get that. And A New Hope's one of those movies that, like, I don't know, it's watching it now, there's things where I'm like, okay, this is why Star Wars is the way it is. A lot of the setup, even Kallus's turn, you can kind of tie back to A New Hope in terms of like what you see every hero do, or what they should do, is turn and become part of this bigger thing. And Kallus felt small and empty, and it's almost like an inverse of Luke. It's like if Luke had joined the Empire, is what Kallus's character is too,
which he wanted to do.
Yes, he did. It's exactly what he wanted to do, which was crazy.
Luke was almost the next Kallus. Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's what would have happened. And that's a great answer. Yeah, A New Hope's one of those ones that I think people, it's so weird. We've got so much Star Wars now that A New Hope, and I don't think anyone, maybe Alex Damon's the other person that said that's his favorite, but I think that's about it. Like, people don't say A New Hope.
Hello Greedo. I think Hello Greedo did. I think he did. But we're casually name dropping big YouTubers now. Like, oh no, maybe it was Kidnap Suck. Oh, maybe it was
But no, really, that's a great answer. I mine always changes. Favorite's a weird one. In 2019, it was TLJ, but now it's the Phantom Menace. I don't know why.
God, I love TLJ so much.
It is one of the best.
My one friend that I play Star Wars Legion with made a crate table for the miniatures game, and playing on that table always like it's like goosebumps. It's so cool.
That's awesome.
Like so like the white with like the red cuts
with the red salt, and like he did the trenches and stuff. Yeah, it's really dope.
I live nerdgasmed on camera right there like that. Anyway, I apologize. My apologies.
That's just what we need to see.
I'll try and like send you some pictures. It's pretty cool.
Oh, please. I would love that. And then of course the last one, most fun, because this one always changes as well.
This is the hard one.
My gut says Solo, but I also just finished Queen's Hope from E.K. Johnston, and it's such a good ride. It's like the perfect wrap up to that trilogy of Padme books. So I think I'm just gonna say like E.K. Johnston's Padme trilogy, because it's really fresh in my mind right now.
Of course. And you know what, Solo, when you initially mentioned Solo, every time I watch that with my fiance, we always have like this movie's just so much fun. I mean, it really, everything about it is fun, from the beginning to like the Romeo and Juliet, like, we'll get out of this together, to like the, him losing her. It's not fun, but it's like super dramatic, super heavy. Him meeting Chewie. I mean, it's like,
and yet it still feels just like, it still feels like you're reading like a romance novel, or like a, a very romanticized, I'm leaving him behind. She's leaving me behind.
It's a love letter to Star Wars Legends. Like, it just feels like a Legends novel to me. And I really, really dig that.
Yeah. And the E.K.
Johnston, Terrace Kasi mention alone made me love the entire thing,
I haven't finished reading that trilogy of the E.K. Johnston books, but I really need to. That'll be.
I read the first one, and I need to, because the first Queen's Peril's the second, right? Queen's Gambit? No, that's
the chess show.
Here's my
nerd
card
during Phantom Menace, so you'll really dig it, Scotty. And
yeah.
So good.
The third book isn't out yet. I got my hands on an advanced copy.
Oh,
So
nice.
It comes out in a couple months, or sorry, no, next month. Comes out in April.
Wow.
So it comes out very soon.
Ooh. What is it?
Well-
What's the timeline, if you don't mind me asking? Or I don't know if you
Sure.
can disclose that. But
No, I can
what
talk
is it?
about
Is it-
certain stuff with it. It is set immediately after the end of Attack of the Clones. So in one of the
marriage
chapters, Anakin is getting ready for the wedding, and he visits Qui-Gon's shrine on Naboo. So it is literally picking up right before the wedding of Anakin and Padme.
Oh well, now I'm listening to that one.
Yeah.
That's
Well, like
guaranteed.
because like the first book was so like I loved everything that EK added to like you know how she made the handmaidens weren't just like they were like guards as well. It wasn't just like people who helped Padme put on her dresses, and also that the dresses had escape hatches and different things like so much is added to all of that. So
that was all stuff that was happening in fan fiction communities during the prequel era. And EK did this amazing job of like, you can tell that she was part of those communities and that she was active in those spaces. And it's just like she took all this fan lore that was really prevalent in the early 2000s when the prequels were coming out and just like reworked it to fit the new established canon and expand on it and do her twist on it. And it's really, really, really cool as someone who like loved those spaces early on.
Of course.
Right.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna go back and probably re-listen to the first one and just go right into the second because I've got the second. I haven't been able to put. Oh man, anyway.
Number 2 is set during Phantom Menace, so if you love the Phantom Menace, you're gonna adore that book.
Well,
we might just have to have Andy back on for like after we
talk
get
about
the trilogy or something, and we'll just like do like a Padme Phantom Menace. Like, look at that cover too. That cover is so beautiful. Look at that.
Oh, she's so stunning.
Oh my god, it's so good.
It's really, really good.
Oh,
that is dope.
Anyway, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm already booking the show on the show. Andy, we're gonna have you back on, and we're gonna go through.
Oh,
let's do it. Let's do it.
I got a lot of opinions about Queen's Hope.
Ooh,
okay, good.
I love it.
There's some very cool queer representation in this book.
Oh, they're
awesome.
so good. They're so good in the novels and everything. Like the publishing side, I feel like is very good, but it's
the one character I can talk about. I know because EK has tweeted about it. Is Sister, who is a transgender clone trooper, and
no way,
canonically transgender.
It's sick.
I got to be careful with what I say. She is not in the book a lot. She has a brief scene, but I have a lot of opinions about it, and I think it's handled incredibly well.
Now, a clone of Jango or just a clone in general?
No, it's
clone of
it's
Jango
like
Fett.
Clone of Jango.
She is a clone trooper of Jango Fett.
But instead of brother,
cool.
it's sister, which is such a I love.
Her name is
Scotty, we got to get caught up so we can do this.
Sorry. And there's multiple other queer characters in this book, and they're done really well.
That's so awesome.
That is fantastic. You know what? Hopefully, like Gerry said, beyond publishing, I hope in the future, and I would say the next year or so, we get some representation, especially in that regard on the big screen or even on the TV.
Star Trek is kicking Star Wars' ass right now, so
big
time.
Let's
get it. Let's get it.
Big
Come on,
time.
DC is kicking Star Wars'
right.
But and like, don't get me wrong, the CW shows aren't great, but they handle representation great. Like Constantine was done incredibly well.
Right.
So like, and Star Trek is phenomenal, and the shows are great, and the representation is great. And it just seems that Disney, I don't even think they're scared to do it. I just think they don't want to, which is a shame. But the publishing is doing a great job.
Yeah.
All 3 of the Padme novels have queer rep, and I've been really happy with all of them. But this one in particular takes some very big steps that Star Wars has been lacking, and blew me out of the water.
That's so
That's
cool, man.
beautiful.
I love that.
Yeah. Oh, I
That's
cried
awesome.
multiple times reading this book.
That's so
awesome.
dude.
Yeah.
Andy, that's so awesome. Like, I love that.
It's good
But
stuff.
like, I don't know. I don't know. This is anyway.
What I was
This is how.
I was
This
gonna
is
say
how
this.
I think. Go ahead. I was just gonna talk to the trolls and say, this is how you know we're not paid by Disney. Is I'm gonna look into the camera and say, get it together, Chapek. Come on, you bastard.
I agree.
Get it together. Disney. Do
I mean,
better.
we've
There
gone
you go.
back to Shooter. When Jim Shooter was head of Marvel, he said there were no gays in the Marvel universe, and he put a kibosh on any queer characters in the Marvel universe. And I can't believe we've gone back to those days. It's brutal.
Right. It's weird.
very
It's
rough
weird.
out
It's
there.
weird how time is a circle. Like no one. It's like
Yeah.
no one really listens in history class or anything. you know?
No, it's very bizarre.
Anyway.
Well, I want to bring into the overall discussion, which
Nuts and
actually
stuff.
does kind of play into something that you kind of raised my eyes to, Andy. Was when we were chatting about this episode, I would say about a week and a half ago, you mentioned how Kallus and Zeb's episode, the honorable ones, is kind of like a little gay fanfic. And I never really put that together. But watching it now, you know, when I first watched it 5 years ago, I didn't think about it at all that way. But watching it now, I'm like, there's a little bit of like a not a brotherhood
There's a
thing,
spark
like
there.
a romantic. There's a little bit of like a I see you, you see me. Like I like
if it wasn't a
big
cartoon,
so-
they would have probably huddled together for warmth. I'm just saying.
If this
you know?
was-
Like,
yes.
If this was on fanfiction.net, it would have the tags enemies to lovers. It would
Right.
have hurt comfort. Like it is a very fanfiction-y episode, and it's canon. And you know, I don't want to give them too much credit. It's never stated officially. It's all very subtextual. But in interviews, Filoni talked about how like these characters are very Legolas Gimli, and we all know that they're two bastions of heterosexuality, right?
right.
The prettiest
So,
man I've ever seen, Orlando Bloom.
the voice actor for Zeb has constantly refers to Kallus as his man, and
Yep.
has said that he ships the characters. So it's
right.
not just fans reading too much into it. But yeah, it's definitely there.
Like it's funny.
Well, I mean, even the way,
rewatching
like
it,
at the end of their journey. I'm sorry, I'm jumping too far ahead, probably. But when Zeb takes Kallus to see the Lyrasan or whatever, right?
Mhm.
yes.
There's big like it's like, okay, he's taking his buddy to see how you didn't wipe everyone out, but I'm like, that's a very personal journey.
He's
Meet
going
the
home to meet
family,
the family.
Yes.
Yeah,
meet the
right.
family.
Right,
And,
exactly.
and to bring it back to Lord of the Rings, it's
Gotta meet my
Legolas
crazy
taking
grandma.
Gimli to the Undying Lands.
Exactly what it is. Oh, armor on the shoulder too, because I'm pretty sure Zeb grabs him and pulls him in as well at the very like the
Mhm.
final shot of them together. Oh, love it. I never thought
great.
about it until you said that. In that
There's
text.
there's some very horny fan art out there. If you want to see some stuff, it's out there. Just saying that, but
Sure, no, that doesn't surprise me at all. People
No.
are creative.
no, it is a
Horny fanfic?
very
What?
it is a very popular ship.
That is, but it makes sense though, and it's almost like I think
It
the Finn and
lasted all
Poe
4
thing,
seasons.
It's it's weird because I was about to say that watching Zeb and Kallus's relationship develop throughout these 4 seasons, especially in that episode where Zeb does not rat that Kallus is back there hiding in a cave. I was like, that's so honorable. That's
Mhm.
so respectful of Kallus, and they had a mutual agreement in that moment. It was to be enemies and to still have to be enemies even after that. That's an interesting choice that Dave Filoni, or I guess the Rebels crew, took with that overall story. I love it.
Callus stops using his bow rifle after that too,
Oh yeah, you're right.
which
Mm.
I've tweeted at, I believe I tweeted at Matt Martin about that, and he was just like, he's like, I can't say more than it was an intentional choice. So
That's awesome.
you can read into that
I
what you
love that.
want, but it's very
Sure, of
interesting
course.
to me that Kallus stops using his stolen bow rifle after the honorable ones.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And we don't see
That's
it again.
interesting.
We don't know what
No,
happens.
we
to
don't. And they
Right.
make a big point to show that rifle as well, that whole episode.
Yeah,
where
he's
they
using it
got
as
in
like
the
a
ice
crutch at
with
the
it.
end, I think, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like it's like a
Interesting.
splint or whatever. Yeah, to
Mhm.
hold his leg together. Yeah.
I love Dave. It's so funny. If I ever had a chance to meet Dave Filoni, it would be these questions. You know, like he's never going to tell us the nature of the world between worlds. He's never going to tell
Yeah.
us, you know, how Ahsoka survived. Like he's never going to tell us that. But if you were, it's simple as like, do you ship Kallus and Zeb? He would probably say, of course. Like that's why I wrote this.
I kind of wrote it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that was pretty good, Jerry.
You
I
got
get that.
Filoni.
Then, George.
I did that for your Comic-Con one year with Dave Cosploni.
Ah!
No way.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah. So obviously you see Kallus's plan kind of falling apart, then coming back together. But like, why his turn? What was it for you that like just set it off? Like made you connect to this?
So I love a redemption arc, and I love a character going, switching sides. I think that's always really fun. I relate to Kallus on a very deep level, with like being part of an institution that you realize doesn't have your best interests, and keeping secrets and feeling like you're living a double life. Like that is all stuff that like hits for me in a really big way. And then the fact that I was like, I already had a subtextual like queer reading of Kallus, so I was like digging that. But it all coming together of him looking for atonement and not forgiveness is something that I think is really interesting with Kallus.
Right.
Oh, that's nice.
He never asks anyone to forgive him. He just looks to do right now. And I think that's very compelling.
And you know what?
Yeah.
In the honorable ones, he even mentions that. He's like, look, we were sent in to do a job, killed all my men were killed. I was spared by a Lasat. I've got nothing against you. I'm just doing my job. I'm serving my purpose. And then he realizes that purpose is not fulfilling him anymore. You know, when he's being used as a pawn, or he sees that Thrawn is committing injustices, or even Governor Price is committing injustices, like he has to stand against that, you know, and he doesn't mind. And I love the character for this reason. He doesn't mind throwing stupid people under the bus. Like when God, what was that one admiral?
List.
Yes. When he's like,
List.
you know what? Governor Price is the spy. And he's like, oh my God, yeah. And they switch the cylinder codes and they walk away from each other. Like, that's just brilliant because he knows what other people's motivations are. And that's what makes him such a good character. He knows what the rebels want to do, but also, you know, he has this realization of what he wants to do. And maybe what they're doing isn't so bad after all, you know?
He had an out and he chose not to take it. He chose to stay in a situation that was very dangerous for himself and it was very difficult, but he felt like he could do the most good there. And I think that him looking for atonement is maybe questioning like if he deserved an out, which I also think is very relatable. You know, he's his own like harshest critic. I do think it's really important that it's when he finally does escape the Empire and fully like join the Yavin group, it's Zeb who notices that it's Kallus calling for help, and it's Kanan who thanks him. And I think it's important that it's Zeb and Kanan there because Zeb is the person who was most hurt by Kallus, and Kanan is the spiritual center of the show. So Kanan saying like, thank you for risking everything for us. And Kanan like recognizing Kallus's
That's a great line.
like turn lets the audience know that, like, okay, this is okay with everyone because Kanan is the spiritual center of this show.
Right.
So there are still fans out there who like talk crap on Kallus.
No, it's okay.
Oh, you can say no. You can say shit.
There's still fans out there who like talk shit on Kallus, and I'm like, did y'all see the episode? Like, there's a reason why it's Kanan. Like,
Sure,
if it was Ezra, or if it was Sabine, or if it was Commander Sato, like if it was any other character, like sure you could say like, oh well, that's just their perspective. But Kanan doing it, especially like season 3 Kanan, like I think that is to key the audience in that, like, no, everyone is on board for this.
And he's just I don't know, he's weird because obviously he's a physical fighter. He's really good at the physical aspect of it. He was trained by the Empire, and it's funny, like, no matter what institution, like you said, no matter what institution you belong to, you can see the flaws in it. Even in the rebellion, I'm sure he has his thoughts and feelings on the rebellion that he would like to change, but that's just kind of part of it. And he's really good at acting on those instincts. Like when he decided to become Fulcrum and he decided to be, the spy, and that was always such a cool thing. And even someone as like Wolf Yularen, when he's in that episode through Imperial Eyes, and he's like,
right,
I remember all my favorite students. Like, we all have that teacher that you don't want to disappoint, but for the greater good, I mean, you have to go against your intuitions if you know that it's the right thing to do. He embodies that.
I think that there's a lot with Kallus that we don't get to see, which is another thing I find really interesting, is that similarly to Bo-Katan, we pick up Kallus in between moments of radical change.
Exactly.
So we see Kallus in the Honorable Ones, and then next time we see him, he is part of the rebellion secretly.
Yeah.
He's become a Fulcrum agent off screen. And then we see him join the Yavin group at the end of 0 Hour. And then the next time we see him, he's laid back Captain Kallus. He's not Agent Kallus anymore.
No.
So there's these huge
baby.
moments where I think another reason why he's popular with, shippers and fan fiction writers is because there are these huge moments where you can like play around with him, because we don't know exactly what transpired to get him from point A to point B to point C.
That's a beautiful concept that I had never considered either, for that reason alone.
That would be a great novel, honestly.
Hey, that's what I was going to say. It could be a show or a novel or something to flesh out this character.
Cassian Andor show.
That's what I'm thinking too. Either that or Kenobi.
Agents.
Or Kenobi. Well, no, Kenobi, he wouldn't have turned by then, I don't think. Because Kenobi's...
No, that would be...
baddie, but...
Yeah, he'd still be a baddie, but you could still have him.
Be good to see him.
He was around the Grand Inquisitor. He was around the Grand Inquisitor. He was around that whole crew, so it's not out of the realm of possibilities that he could be in Kenobi. Oh, that'd be sick. Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
Anything's on the table these days.
Yeah, really. We know what it means to you, Andy. Okay. What does it mean to the overall story of Star Wars? Because he's a big canon character now. I mean, like, you don't start a huge faction of the rebellion and continue it without being a big part of it. And of course, he's at the very end, the final battle with, Thrawn and all the friends the rebels had made along the way. And of course, Ezra and Thrawn getting sent off into whale hell, or whatever you're going to call it. Whale hell. Sorry.
Whale hell? Whale hell.
We'll find out in Ahsoka. And there's
kind of like a whaler, like out of like Captain Ahab. Whale hell. Anyway, sorry, Andy.
So what does it mean to the overall story of Star Wars? Because this is a big moment to you.
I think the most important aspect that that Kallus means to Star Wars is this idea that I mentioned earlier of atonement, where not to bring up Rise of Skywalker, but I think it was a huge disservice to kill Ben. I think it would have been,
which I agree,
really compelling if you have him come to the light side. What does that mean for him now? He's done truly awful, heinous things. He's like 30 years old. What's he do for the rest of his life to make up for that? And instead of having this idea of atonement, it's just like, bam, he's forgiven. He gets to go to Force Heaven. So a character like Kallus, who has done heinous shit, he is now focusing on like the rest of his life moving forward, and like, what does that look like for him? How does he like wake up every day and move forward knowing that he's done these awful things? And it's an idea that we never see explored with Force users. They always get that death, redemption, get out of jail free card. But former Imperials, we get to see do this messy work of atonement. And Kallus is one of those ex-Imperials that we get to see working really hard to like be a better person. And I find that
what's
really interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only other character we've seen be compared to that, and obviously not to the extent that Kallus is, but Bill Burr's character from The Mandalorian, what's his name?
Mayfield.
Yes. Yeah. So Mayfield, like Boston, you get to see
Mayfield.
Yeah, you get to see Mayfield kind of have that moment of atonement where he, blows up the Imperial facility, and he's like, now I can sleep at night kind of thing. But like Kallus, I mean, obviously Bill Burr is more revenge. Kallus is just like he has to kind of lay in the bed that he made. That's a wild thought that we do not get in Star Wars. My eyes have never been open to that before. I've never considered that because Ben dies, Vader dies.
Ventress.
Anakin dies.
We see Ventress start that journey, and then all of a sudden, when she gets close to the end, they kill her off in a book.
Right.
Right. And so, like, we never get a Force user do this. It's always a former Imperial. Which I think Kallus is a really interesting example. Someone in the chat, I want to address this, said that that Ben would have never gained full atonement regardless of how hard he tried. And like, yeah, but I want to see him try.
Yeah.
Well, in some people's eyes, you will never, like, if you've wronged someone, sometimes you won't get like
I'm
forgiveness
sure that
from that person.
I'm sure the people on Jakku who knew the village Ben massacred would not have forgiven him.
Right.
And like, that's this idea of forgiveness versus atonement. Like, forgiveness is unearned, and like it just, the evangelical idea of forgiveness is very like, it's a one-time act. You say you're sorry, someone forgives you, and you move forward. Whereas this idea of atonement is more of a Jewish idea. I'm not Jewish. I studied theology though. This idea of like, you work towards bettering your community and yourself, and like, people might not forgive you, and you have to be okay with that.
Right.
See, I just looked at the definition. Oh, I'm sorry, Andy, keep going.
This idea of like, Ben couldn't have achieved full atonement. I agree. Like, he was part of a fascist organization that blew up planets, and he did war crimes. Like, we see him torture multiple people on screen. Like, he's a really bad dude. But how does he move forward past that now that he's decided he wants to? And I do like the idea of the core of Star Wars is like, no one is beyond forgiveness. Like, if Vader can be redeemed and get to Force Heaven, I think Ben could have worked the rest of his life towards atonement. And I think that would have been a new, more interesting story for Star Wars with a Force user. And that's that idea with Kallus. Like, Kallus also did heinous war crimes. Kallus is a really bad person. Yeah. But we get to see him go on this journey of recognizing that and deciding that he's going to work the rest of his life towards being a good man. And what does that look like? I don't know. It's freaking compelling though. I'm into it.
It is.
That's why I love this character.
Well, like, it's someone wrestling to the thought of watching Ben try to wrestle to find, again, like, not forgiveness, but like that inner peace almost. Like, how can I be at peace with what I've done, I guess, is kind of a thing. And also try to make up for it in ways. But again, like we said, you can never like fully make up for it. But just, like you said, that struggle just is like, why haven't they done that with like a Force user? Like, I just don't know, like, why they can't. Like, that would be so, it would be so cool. Let's bring Ben back from the dead in a series and have him and flesh that out.
I think that's possible.
If Sidious can create a body manipulating midichlorians, couldn't someone else make a body and put Ben's ghost? I don't know. I'm sure fan fiction writers have done it.
Of course.
I mean, get Emily from Pink Milk on here, and and we'll write this together.
There you go.
That'd be beautiful. So I looked up the definition of Jewish atonement. Now, I never looked it up before. It says in Judaism, vicarious atonement has little importance. For traditional Jews, atonement is expiation for an individual's own sin in order to attain God's forgiveness. Individuals may achieve this in various ways, including repentance, payment for a wrong action, good works, suffering, and prayer. Very interesting. So, like, obviously, the Catholic version, which I grew up with studying and I currently teach at a Catholic school, we are taught that, like, all your sins will be wiped away when you're interacting with God or you're talking to a priest, you're talking to God through a priest, you know. But this idea feels so much more authentic to this character, you know, like you can't just be forgiven and you can go leave church feeling good. This idea of like, no, suffering is part of this. Kallus's pain is part of this. That's kind of a beautiful and very obviously old way of thinking, you know. I had never read this definition before. That's pretty wild.
So I've talked about this on Hyperfocus, but I was a pastor before I came out. And I was in seminary and I was very in the closet. And so this idea of Kallus being undercover in the Empire and realizing that like this organization that I thought was good is actually really bad and they don't care about me. Like he sees Zeb's friends come and rescue him and he's like heartbroken that no one cared in the Empire that he was missing.
Right.
And this idea of like the people around me who should care about me really don't. And I'm beginning to think that everything I'm doing is actually doing more harm than good. And I'm haunted by it. And I can't let anyone find out that now I'm working for the other. Like Kallus just hit for me. And once I did come out and once I did leave the church and once I started like drifting away from my faith, the guilt of having been part of this organization that I do think ultimately hurt a lot of people, like really weighed on my heart. And I feel like a lot of the stuff I did as a pastor, like perpetuated a lot of harmful systems. And, you know, I was doing the best I could and I was trying really hard to help people. But I think ultimately everything I did there was wrong. And yeah, that's tough. And like when I was a Christian, I was like, oh, well, I can pray and God will forgive me and I'll be good. But now that I don't think I have faith anymore, like, how do I make up for that shit? How do I be a good person outside of this faith system? And how do I make up for the things that I did wrong while I was serving that faith system? Those are heavy questions. And so Kallus wrestling with that stuff. And I do love that when we see him in season 4, he's not weighed down by it.
No.
Nope. We know that he's done that work between, I mean, through Imperial eyes, he is making reckless decisions that hurt him, I think, because he's looking for atonement. But by the time we see him in season 4, he's at peace with himself. And that idea of like, okay, well, if Kallus can find peace, maybe I can. And maybe I can do it in slightly healthier ways than like going undercover and like getting the shit kicked out of me.
Right.
But, yeah, it's really powerful storytelling and it's really powerful character work.
That's something I never had my eyes open to because obviously, you know, we all go about our lives, you know, seeing ourselves and reflecting in stories and, you know, we tend to as creators of, you know, as creators of content, but also as creators of, you know, just in general, you know, with creating cosplays, with writing fan fiction, with anything, with giving it the time to reflect on this stuff. It is, and it's so, you know, Nick is one of the best examples. We treat Star Wars like a sacred text on Podcasts of the Wills, and I agree, right? So like this idea right here is if you can take out what you put into Star Wars, that's when you're doing your job. That's when you feel like you're doing the most for yourself. And thank God Star Wars has united, you know, me and Gerry together. Now, Andy, like all three of us are all hanging out because of this. And if we can, you know, have our own introspective relationships with it, that's great. But, you know, if we can have some external, you know, relationships too, that's beautiful. And I had never considered Kallus being such a big reflection of, you know, leaving something you were comfortable in, or knowing what the right thing was to do and never doing it. Andy, that you have opened my eyes. Like that is exactly what this is all about. Thank you. I mean this from my heart.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And I think we were talking about like what he brings to Star Wars, and I definitely got sidetracked. But this idea of like Star Wars is all about that anyone can be saved. Like that is the core of all 9 movies in the Skywalker saga, is that anyone can be saved. Everyone deserves forgiveness. Everyone deserves a second chance. If Vader deserves it, if Kylo deserves it, everyone deserves it. But we don't see necessarily the work. We see it on like Luke's side and Rey's side of like, I'm going to forgive this person who's hurt me. Yeah. But on the flip side, Kallus is that flip side of like, I've hurt people and now I need to work towards being a better person.
Work on myself. Yeah. That's awesome. That's how I feel about Din Djarin as well as a character, because I didn't know how it would be attached to a character. And George Lucas told Dave Filoni in an interview, all you have to do is bring hope to Star Wars. Like keep the hope alive for people that are young, people that need it. And when I was watching The Mandalorian, I think that's how I've ever felt most related to Star Wars, is like you've got a character that was so set in his ways, and then one little thing comes into your life and it changes everything about it. It changes what you perceive to be your reality. Your reality's altered. And I think the Rebels crew did that to Kallus in that way. Gerry, you had something to say? I could tell you were.
Well, I'm just thinking about the last the first episode of season 3 of The Mandalorian, which happened in the Book of Boba Fett. I really dove into. I was just thinking about like you talking about him, like the religious trauma and stuff. That he was going through with that. It just anyway. That's it. I was just reminding me, flashbacks here, because Andy and I have bonded over some of this kind of stuff.
We sure
like
have.
I used to be a pastor as well.
Of course.
So, it's just, I like, and again, like I wasn't, I wasn't closeted for, whatever, my sexuality or whatever, but like, I felt like closeted for the way, at least I thought, right? Like I felt like,
of course,
my thinking was like not accepted. And, it was just, like, and again, I don't want to compare that to that, but it's just like, it is when you have something, and I think Andy, you probably feel the same way, when you have something that you've known for so long, it's basically been your entire life. And then you're like, well, where do I go now? You mentioned, can I still how do you be a good person outside of this faith system you've known, or this organization you've been a part of in Kallus's, thing. And it's just, you just go to the next good thing, and you help, and you just keep helping, and you just keep adding add your voice to it. If you can't help in any significant way, try to just trying to find those good stops along the way, and where can I do the most good right now? Right. Kind of a thing. Anyway, I'm rambling.
Of course.
I'm rambling.
No.
I do want to address something you said of that you didn't want to compare your trauma to someone else's. And I can't speak for any other system, but I can assure you the evangelical church chews up everyone in it eventually. And no one gets out of that without scars. And comparing scar size doesn't do anyone any good. So
right.
Absolutely, it's you're someone else having worse trauma than you doesn't take away from the trauma you're carrying.
Right.
Of course.
Don't minimize that shit. You went through something really difficult and you walked away from it. And you walked away from it
I appreciate
a really kind person who cares about people and has empathy. And that's
thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's all I was after. So now I'm going to leave the stream and stuff because I was just after an ego boost. So thank you, Andy.
Well,
no, thank you.
To kind of wrap up this discussion.
Thank you.
No, and it's true that I'm glad that, this is what Star Wars can also do for us. It helps bring out the truth in things that maybe you didn't see that coming from, this show.
Stories help us understand the world around us. They help us understand life, right? Well, they help us understand our struggles. That's the importance of stories.
you watch the second episode of Star Wars Rebels, and like Kallus is fully feral. He's like frothing at the mouth,
Right.
like screaming left side.
He looks
and,
like
like,
Wolverine, like in those
trying to murder Zeb. And if you had
Yeah.
told me after watching that episode that like I'm going to emotionally imprint on this guy with the really bad mutton chops, and he's going to like make me feel feelings about losing my faith and stepping away from the church and leaving seminary and being gay and finding my gender identity. Like, if you had told me the bad guy with the mutton chops who wants to murder the purple ape was gonna like make me feel these feelings, I'd have been like, "You're drunk." Like,
Yeah,
no,
of course.
the one note murder guy. Like, no,
Yeah.
like, that's wild. But like, here we are,
Yeah.
4 years later after the show's done, and like 4 seasons of amazing character development, and
yeah.
And an hour discussion about the same dude. Like, just think about that, you know? It's not many Star Wars characters, especially ones like, and I would say Kallus is secondary. I mean, he's not always in front, like Ezra or Hera.
He is a fulcrum in that
Yes.
show, right? Like he is
course.
absolutely.
But he's C-list. Like he's
is
in one show. He's not a main character in that show.
No.
Like, he's not ever been in live action, which is like the cream of the crop for Star Wars. So like, yeah, he's like a C-list Star Wars character at like best.
And you can still have that.
If Cobb
relationship
Vanth can
with
make
something
it,
like that.
I mean, come on. If
Well,
Cobb Vanth can crawl his way
fingers crossed
out of the Wendig trilogy, you know, and B is absolutely like
loved,
monumentally handsome and fantastic on
adored.
screen as he is, you know, like anyway, I'm sorry.
love it.
I'm just gushing about Cobb Vanth now. Anyway.
Well, I wanted to bring this up because this is my next and I guess the final question for this whole little discussion we've been having. What's next? Like, what do you want next for this character? Live action, novel, maybe own spinoff, like book of Kallus? Like, I mean, like what do we want for this character? And Andy, for someone that's so passionate, I'm going to give you just a moment to think about it so I can let Gerry say something. Because Gerry, what do you want? I can tell you exactly what I want, word for word.
Well, I went from Kallus.
Yeah, do you want him to be? What do you want him to show up?
Just bring him in, like bring him in more, put him in something else, because he's a fantastic character. Bring him in Zeb. Like I want to see Zeb in something. You know, we have yet to see a Lasat in live action. You know that?
Give us post. You know, Return of the Jedi stuff. That's what I would say.
It doesn't even have to be live action. It doesn't even have to be live action. But like I would I would love to see. I would love to see a show that is like following the Rebels characters throughout the original trilogy. Even like I want to see what they're doing, because I think people kind of think like, oh, they all stayed on Lothal. No. Like they were working with the like rebellion. Maybe I don't even think that Sabine stayed on Lothal. A lot of people think, I don't know, maybe she did or not. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. I always felt like she would go back and help with Lothal.
Sure,
but they were all out again, finding the next good thing, trying to do that. And I would love to see that from Kallus, honestly, like a sequel series that is just in the original trilogy.
If Ben Kenobi can leave Tatooine while protecting Luke,
yes,
which I don't love, but I'm going into the show with an open mind. Anyone can leave anywhere, Sabine can leave Lothal, even though she's staying on Lothal to protect it for Ezra.
Right.
Sure.
If Kenobi can leave Tatooine.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And like to have a character that obviously has made waves and just animation alone, I can see him making that jump into live action. And like, how do we do it? Does it look good? Do we respect where it came from? Do we make him an asshole again? Do we make him an Imperial again? Like there's so many options where Kallus could show up, and the three biggest ones right now, to me, I think, have to be, in terms of live action, have to be Kenobi, where he could be an Imperial. It could be Andor, where he is already turned, possibly, right? We don't know exactly, in terms of timeline that takes place.
If he's an Andor,
or he could be in Ahsoka, where he is Fulcrum again, or he's doing something to help Ahsoka find Ezra or Thrawn. Like that is those are the three biggest options. I honestly think Ahsoka is the most likely. That's post Return of the Jedi. We think, to our knowledge, I'm almost positive. Yeah. And then you've got Sabine showing up. You could have Hera showing up. I mean, I'm so happy that we can even discuss this. Before The Mandalorian, I would have told you, Kallus that's it. Like, that's it for the live action Kallus. But now that we've got characters showing up all willy-nilly, I don't know. Makes me so happy to think about that.
So this is something that would like lose me cred in the Kallus fandom community, is that I also ship Kallus with Cassian.
Okay.
Because they're both Fulcrum agents. They're both spies who have done terrible things that they regret. And my fiance cosplays Cassian and looks really hot.
No.
So I like to give him smooches while I'm
Hell yeah.
Kallus, and I have my dumb facial hair and he has to kiss me.
That's awesome.
So I would love to see like a meeting of Fulcrum agents in Cassian, and one of them has really dumb mutton chops, and I can be like,
that'd be great.
That's my boy.
That's it.
That's my dirty, bad, sinful boy who's done all these terrible things. Man, it's my garbage man.
It's brilliant.
But like, if I got more than a cameo, I'd be even more pumped.
Sure.
But to your point, Scotty, with him showing up in Ahsoka, I think he needs a rematch with Thrawn. The two characters who have the most compelling relationship with Grand Admiral Thrawn are Hera and Kallus.
Right.
Hera and Thrawn have this really interesting cat and mouse game of people like trying to outsmart each other on the battlefield. They're playing chess with each other. Where Kallus has this cloak and dagger shit with Thrawn. And then like they duke it out and it's dope. And I think we need to see them like go toe to toe again. I think it makes sense.
Well, a lot of through Imperial Eyes was that we got Kallus kind of outsmarting Thrawn for once, and that is just that's a hard thing to do. Not many people can do that.
Almost with Thrawn having figured it out, which is such a bummer.
Yes.
Like if Kallus had listened to Ezra and left, Kallus would have come out on top.
100%.
Yeah.
But because his guilt didn't let him, and he stayed behind, Thrawn gets the upper hand and figures it out. And it's heartbreaking. It's so tragic. It's like, Kallus, if you can forgive yourself right now and move forward, like you're gonna escape and you're gonna like get the win. But because he says like I don't believe I've earned a release from this hell I'm in yet.
Yeah. Like he says he feels he can do more good there, right?
Yeah. And it's like, dude, no, you like take care of yourself. Like,
of course.
Like, take care of your heart, buddy. Like, get out of there. It's not good for you where you're at.
Ah, brilliant. God, I love Star Wars.
Yeah. And then like Thrawn beats the crap out of him. And like I think we need to see them together again, interact.
Of course. Oh, that's beautiful. Well, I can tell you this much. I didn't think that I'd have this much fun talking about Kallus this evening. And I mean that.
Yeah.
You brought the bacon, Andy.
Hell yeah.
I've wanted to get off this bench, Coach. Thanks for putting me in.
About damn time, right?
Oh, man. You know what's funny? If I had, because we already submitted our celebration panel, this would have been the one I submitted, because it's not often people don't talk about Kallus. Like, I was doing research on this. There's a very few episodes anywhere where Kallus is the main focus. And I think it's something that, should be acknowledged more. He is a crucial player in the story of Rebels. He is just as important to me as Kanan, as Hera, as Sabine, as Zeb, as AP5. Like, they're all big. These characters have such a bigger story that I don't think
how dare you leave Chopper out of there? Did you say Chopper?
Yeah, I'm
you
sorry.
put AP5 above Chopper?
Oh, wow, yeah.
Oh, man.
Dave Filoni's going to have words with you at Celebration.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Andy, thank you again. I really did. Andy, where can people find you at, by the way?
So I'm on Twitter, and my Twitter handle is at a one hat town, which is a reference to a Rian Johnson movie that no one talks about but me. And then I do too many podcasts. They're all on the Where They May Radio Network. My Star Wars podcast is Force Friends Rewatch. rocking the brand.
There you go.
And we take a theme of Star Wars and we trace it chronologically through every show that it appears in. So we're currently covering Twi'leks right now, and we're just looking at every Twi'lek themed episode of Star Wars TV.
Wow, I like this. That's great.
Such a great show concept. Honestly, like I love it. It's fantastic.
Oh, well, thank you. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll see me post up everything else I do. I said, I do too many podcasts. I have a real problem.
Well, hey, look, that's the good thing about coming on us is we do too many as well, and we can always share. Mm-hmm. We can always share the wealth with this. Gerry, do us a favor. I forgot we needed to plug this from the top, but can you plug it right now? We have the Amidala initiative that we've been meaning to discuss on this show. So I think they extended.
Yes, I was gonna say, there you go.
And explain what this is, Gerry, or maybe Andy. I know, Andy, your podcast is a part of the Amidala initiative as well.
Yeah, we're both of our shows. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's see. There we go. So the Amidala initiative, just for those who may not know, if you're not on Twitter or anything, it is it's a group that's been formed and a GoFundMe page to raise money for trans families, trans kids, just anyone affected by the Don't Say Gay bills in, I believe, in Florida and Texas, correct?
It is specifically targeting the anti-trans bills in Texas, which are trying to take transgender children away from their parents.
Right. Yes. Right. So, vile shit, but what we want to do, like we're one of the 77 shows who is backing this initiative. Go right now, if you're not already, if you're on Twitter, go follow the Amidala initiative. They have they have like 3 or 4 really cool stickers, like merch and stuff that you can buy right now. But also just go and give to the GoFundMe, share it as often as you can. We've got to get the word out about this kind of stuff, guys. But just like you were saying earlier, Andy, it's wild that we've come to a time like we thought we were past a lot of this kind of stuff, right? And to feel like we're taking steps backwards instead of forwards, especially in such a vile way to separate children from their parents. I mean, come on, like it's vile and terrible. And anyway, I'm just gonna get mad. So, I hope that was a good enough. I hope that was a good enough plug. But just
it's a really important cause.
Please go give to it.
If that isn't enough, if you're like, all right, sure, I'm not trans, why would I give money to something like this? Yeah, if that's where you're at, I'll say there's some really freaking cool Padme merch that if you buy that,
it's so cool. Some
of the proceeds will be going directly to help these families. So like, do it for that. And I might not be allowed to talk about this, but I'm gonna. There's gonna be some really cool giveaways happening to raise money for this as well with the Amidala initiative, which some very cool Star Wars people getting involved. So keep your eye out for that. And I'm not going to say more than that because I can see the laser pointers coming through my window. There's some really cool stuff that's going to be coming in the month of April with the Amidala initiative to raise money for a really important cause. So even if you don't care about the cause, be selfish and care about the cool shit you can get because it's going to be pretty neat.
Right.
That's beautiful.
Very but also said. practice that next good thing we were talking about.
That empathy, and having human empathy for people different than you who are being hurt and struggling in some really heinous, dark shit.
Right.
Seriously.
Absolutely.
Well, not to change the tone and not to close out the show, but you have not been baptized yet in the Bombadcast. You have been, of course, on Hyperfocus, one of the greatest shows of all time.
Love Hyperfocus.
Andy, we must now baptize you into our wonderful religious cult. Andy, have you ever drank a couple of Folgers before? Have you?
Folgers coffee?
Yes.
Yeah, I've had Folgers. It's terrible, but I've had it.
Andy used to be a pastor. There's like you have Folgers coffee in the lobby in most of those places, or something even cheaper, right?
So let's let Paul Stanley baptize you into Bombadcast Folgers Land.
This is your wake-up call. Time to reach, go for it all. Folgers stirs inside of me, and I know what I can be. Limit is the sky. Hey world, watch me fly. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
And that's the best part of waking up.
I thought it was going to be the incest Christmas commercial.
Oh,
I was
no,
delighted that it
no.
was some circus acrobats.
Right, and magic at the end. He disappears.
Yes,
it's
Yeah.
like
He disappears.
it's just
Oh,
it's a lot
man.
of things,
Like
but
McClavity.
yes. But welcome.
That's amazing. What a reference. Oh my god.
McCavity,
That took me off.
McClavity.
McClavity,
Right.
yes. Oh,
but welcome to the Bombad cult, where only Jar
Yeah.
Jar can judge you. So
that's
that.
it. That's the only person. And Andy, to close the show, can you get us a good Stay Bombad to close out the evening?
Stay Bombad.
Did you say impossible? Pasquale? Only kidding, Chucky. I've changed my tune because I finally thought of a possible dream that we can all share. What is it?
Pasquale?
It's a dream about a world when nobody is poor or sick or hungry.
Oh, now that's a dream we can make come true.
I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right.
As I point up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind.
I see the kids in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their need? A summer's disregard, a broken bottle top,
And a one-man soul. They follow each other on the wind, you know, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer.
if you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change.
I'm starting with the man in the mirror.
Oh yeah,
I'm asking him to change his ways.
come on, change. No message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Oh yeah,
I'm asking him to change his ways.
no message could have been.
Jared, that's a really good point.
If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change.
Time for us to take a break, but we wouldn't dream of being gone for long.